Hello everybody and welcome to our fourth video of the Modern Work Tour.
We are already in the second country, and if you want to know where we are and what we experienced here, continue with the video. It is
Shishi.
also like...
Yeah, it's Shishi.
Shishi. Das war Danke auf Chinesisch, ne? Shishi. Okay.
So hello from beautiful Montevideo
Montevideo.
in Uruguay. Uruguay lies between Argentina and Brazil and is a relatively small country in comparison to these two big giants.
Montevideo is the capital of Uruguay. In comparison to cities like Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro we've been in Brazil, this capital is really a small one with only 1.5 million people.
Still, it is a really beautiful one, and I think they did many things right here. We will talk about it later. First, we have to say we had interesting meetings again, and we want to talk a little bit about a few of them. So let's dive into it.
Yeah. We are very happy that we could meet with a lot of people here because we have been only 1 week here in Uruguay. And then let's start with the smallest company we met here in Montevideo, Hack Academy.
Hack Academy is focusing on bringing people into tech. They have a deep focus on bringing women into tech, which we love because we know there is this huge gap, right? And they are doing a quite good job here.
At Hack Academy we met Jackie and Lou, who are responsible for people management and marketing there.
They found out that it's not possible to just bring women into tech. You have to come up with role models, you have to inspire the people. And for them it was quite hard to find female teachers in tech, because when they put out an application process, always only men applied. And then they did a quite bold move, I think. They just pointed out that they have just a job description for women in tech who want to teach. And it worked quite well.
And I think it shows us how important it is how we communicate with people, how we communicate when we have a specific approach, and to be bold.
So if you want diversity, you have to go for diversity, and maybe sometimes you just have to name it. The next meeting we had was with Vera from Abstract.
Oh, I loved her. She is the Chief Culture Officer at Abstract, and she is really into her topic. She breathes it, lives it, thinks about it all the time. So the conversation we had was really inspiring and also a little bit unusual because we didn't meet at Abstract.
We met in a cafe, which is happening more and more now on the third Modern Work Tour. Any idea why? What is your point of view?
I think it's because of the pandemic. The people are not used anymore or not so used anymore to work in the office the whole time. And they figured out to meet on other places that suit them pretty well as well.
So we even met once in Sao Paulo at a breakfast table at one of the founders' house. So I think that's quite interesting, and we also gain different insights, which is of course for us also a new thing. So I love it actually.
Yeah, and it changed the atmosphere, and it's also changing the atmosphere of our Modern Work Tour.
Vera said something quite interesting about the office. At Abstract, they handle like the whole office thing differently now. So what they are doing is that they pointed out when we meet in the office, it is for meeting each other. It is for connecting, for trust building, for events. So it is not a necessity to work in the office. It is more important that you have the time to connect with your colleagues.
I think it shows us a glimpse of how the world of working is already changing and how we can combine that with hybrid setups. And I think for the future of work it will be even more important to think that through.
One question that Vera also gave us was the question, how can we broaden our impact? And I think it is a beautiful question, and
But
we should
it's
all...
also a difficult
It is a tough one for sure.
Right?
But we have to figure that out, right? And we have to reflect on it over and over and over again. So thanks a lot for the question, Vera.
And then we had a meeting with Federico from Globand. I was so happy that he could make it. Thank you very much, because we had super busy time schedules, but we found on the very last day a time slot where we could meet, and the meeting went great.
So Globand has a really nice office and a really nice office space actually. So you have many lifestyle perks people are dreaming about, like a bowling area, some food areas, relaxation areas, etc., etc. We think it is quite nice to see that they are doing that. So of course it is wonderful if the office looks beautiful, but it's important that this is not the only reason why you have a beautiful office. It should always serve the people and empower the people so that they are more focused, strengthened, etc. Two things we want to point out that we heard from Federico in our meeting. So one thing is, and we never heard that before at a different company, that the company is paying women for their fertilization if it doesn't work the normal way. And we don't know yet what this means to us, but we found it quite interesting. So if you have an idea what you think about it, please leave it in the comments below. We never heard it, right? So yeah, what do you think?
Because normally this kind of issue is not a topic you discuss normally with employees or with colleagues. And maybe it shows how trustful the atmosphere is there.
The second topic we found quite interesting is their internal knowledge university. So they build it from scratch and it's growing bigger and bigger, and people can contribute with their knowledge. And then you have some people from the knowledge university who are challenging the content so it can get even better. And I think for the internal knowledge exchange, this is a quite nice example that you have to put a lot of effort in, but it also can bring a lot of value because you can learn from each other in a really nice way. So the last meeting we had was with Mariana from Pierpoint International. She focuses on the TED community and make it better and bigger.
It was so great meeting her at her home, actually. Again, like we were invited in her private home. She had a beautiful office, beautiful rooms, and we felt very welcome. But that was just only one side, because she is a really inspiring soul. What did impress you the most, Niels?
Like, she has a lot of experience, but she also has kind of really deep knowledge about people. So it was quite an inspiring conversation, and we also did an interview with her. And what I loved a lot was when she said that the future of work should be a little bit like meditation. So you really can find your deep dive and be in the moment and not being between all these different tasks we normally have.
For me, it was when she said, you have to be careful with yourself. You have to be the guardians of your own. And that was what hooked me, because that's the thing we forget when it is stressful, when we have crisis, when we have a bad time or a weekday. And normally we always are the biggest enemy of ourselves. But when we say no, put the enemy behind and bring out the guardian for yourself, I think that's a very inspiring and very strong thought.
So even though we just had a few days, we had really interesting meetings and it was definitely worth coming to Montevideo. So Anna, what about Montevideo itself, the capital of Uruguay?
I liked it. I liked the vibe because it's chilly. And what I liked the most when we strolled around the city was that the cars are super relaxed. Yeah, you can cross the streets, the car will stop for you, they will wave you through, and that was really great. And my most and favorite place here in Montevideo is the Park Rodó. It is beyond beautiful. It is like a really amazing green scenery and you really can enjoy yourself.
I also loved a lot just like walking at the coastline, having the fresh air, the fresh breeze. So I think we had a really great time and we did a lot of walks through the city, and there are so many beautiful buildings and some are quite kind of refurbished and really beautiful, and others are quite old and we don't know what will happen with them. So especially in the old town, it seems that the city is not taking care of the old buildings and they are so beautiful. So yeah, we are curious like how this will be in the future, because many of them are already breaking down. So the city has to do something about it in the future.
And what we also did was we tried an Uruguayan steak. And we found a very perfect place for that. So thank you, Pulperia. It was a really awesome lunch we had, and the atmosphere is great. So if you are in Montevideo, don't miss that.
So normally we are also vegetarians, and when we cook ourselves, it's always without meat. But we said when we travel, we want to taste local delicacies. So that's why we tried the Uruguayan steak, and yeah, it was amazing, let's be honest.
But of course, like always when you are traveling, not everything is perfect and not everything fits you and suits you. There was one thing we didn't like very much in Montevideo.
And it was our Airbnb flat, sadly, because we thought it could be quite nice. Actually, I thought it could be quite nice. Anna already had a bad gut feeling about it, but I said like, okay, let's just do that, let's go for that. We have not many business calls, so we can stay in a smaller apartment.
And that shows us how important the gut feeling is. And sometimes you have to follow it.
So we ended up with an Airbnb that is dark, dirty, smelly, stinky.
It's the same like
it's
smelly.
the same like smelly, but I think we can still add it to the list. Yeah, it didn't work out with us, so we didn't connect with this flat. Anna got also your, I don't know,
cold sore.
Yeah, so
Super
not a great time. The pictures look quite nice, and I mean we are here in the entrance, which is awesome. But
and
then
it's also the room with the best air in the flat.
But then like there's our flat, and yeah, sadly we don't like it. At the same time we ask ourselves if we are too snobby about it.
Yes, maybe. Sometimes I think, but what we learned during our travel is that we need to feel good in our environment. And if not, let's change it. This time we decided not to change it because it was not so much time we wanted to spend in Montevideo. But I think for next time, or even if it happened again, I think we will think about it.
So environment matters, right? It doesn't matter if it's a workplace, if it's where we live or where we stay. We should always find a good way that we can feel as good as possible in the situation.
And it also means that we know what we like and what is good for us. And if you don't know that, find it out and then act on that.
The good news is, in 2 hours we will go to
Buenos Aires in Argentina. I'm looking so much forward to it. Yay!
So we hope we will have an awesome time there. The flat looks really great, so we took a lot of time to find it. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Jinx it.
And we will go in an hour, I think. So next up is Buenos Aires in Argentina. After that, we will go to Mendoza in Argentina. Of course, we have to try the wine there, right?
And let me add one thing. We do a first today.
What is the first?
Is? So we will drive by bus to Sacramento, and after that, how we go to Buenos Aires actually.
We will actually not go.
Swim.
We will swim, but luckily in a boat. So we will take the ferry from Sacramento to Buenos Aires, which is quite nice.
So stay tuned, leave a like and write us a comment. Auf die Matratze.
Yeah, but relaxed. And bring on.
And it's but it's nice. Sorry.
And the last meeting we had,
Yes. That was a freudscher Versprecher. He needs hearted, not a young. It is true.
That is true. We will see you next time in Buenos Aires.
Ciao, ciao.